In the interest of those representing women and children's rights, I'm going to give a description of circumstances between 2015 and the night that my child was unlawfully separated from me. As I've mentioned, there are individuals in my proximity, repeat offenders in my accommodation building where I'm living, and they are disturbing the peace and they have repeat offences. So basically, the issue of my privacy being stalked and experiencing treason in Tralee, County Kerry, my hometown, is not an occurrence and offence that I have been adequately protected from. So the issue of these individuals that have intruded upon my personal and private life and that have claimed absolute outrageous nonsense while spreading themselves thin and negotiating and bargaining circumstances that they have no right to with regard to my property and wealth started in 2016 when they commenced false complaints that they're still continuing to this day with regard to the care of my child, which they had no interaction or involvement or any communication with me about. So as I've said in previous posts, my child was perfectly cared for. The spiritual assault commenced on my child in 2016. That is a fully substantiated fact. That issue continued when he was in unlawful care placement also. So as I've said in previous posts, there wasn't a supervision order in place. There was an interim care order requested without any grounds that are required for an interim care order. An emergency care order, what was claimed, wasn't the actual basis of the separation. So without any legal documentation and without any grounds for separation, my child was swept from me in January 2017 when he was awoken out of his sleep and taken from me. The representatives of the individuals that caused this problem gave me the option to either stay on where I was or just to escort my child with them to my hometown. The circumstance they alluded to was to a discussion surrounding the matters concerning the violence I had been experiencing that I wasn't provided a protection order for. The individual that made the false calls and claims to separate my child from me claimed I was a missing person. The person does not live with me, had no communication with me, and had no interaction with me to make such unsubstantiated claims. The documentation of the agency and the individuals that issued an interim care order and an emergency care order have misconstrued many facts surrounding this matter. There has been different information presented on all their documentation. There wasn't any mental illness either, and neither was I a missing person. I was from my marital home only a matter of hours. Like all married women, I'm fully entitled to have a rain check from the humdrum of domestic life as much as the next person, as I did on that night in January 2017. So the two representatives that came to the accommodation claiming there was a missing person claim and not gone for even more than 24 hours took my child from me without explaining so much as what the matter was that they were causing this problem for me with regard to. They didn't give me the opportunity to seek legal representation. They did not have grounds to assume any mental illness. They supported individuals that were suffering from mental illness and that were still suffering from mental illness up to 2019, 2020. They did not have any grounds to impose upon me when they had previously caused offence and violations of whistleblower protection laws that were in place since 2006 that breached confidentiality. So basically, my child has been traumatised also as a consequence of these illegalities, and the Ombudsman have heard from me since 2017. There are individuals, as I've mentioned, in my proximity disturbing the peace, exacerbating offences, and that are of financial fraud and theft and exploitation. My child being traumatised is a very serious issue. He was harmed in many ways. I'm the mother of a child that is legally missing in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland. As for the grounds that they did not have, which were abandonment and abuse and deprivation. They stole a child from his mother, swept a child from his mother, just to satisfy those that are thieving property and wealth from me. So the ombudsmen that have heard from me since 2017 and the politicians that have heard from me since 2017, I'd like you to address the individuals that are causing further disruptions to peace and harmony in society and disrupting civil society and intruding upon royal patronage. I want my child in my care. There's an illegal issue occurring that is exacerbated since January 2017. I'm not comfortable with thieves and frauds in my proximity, exacerbating their offences against my child. And I